Boys, after UFC 314, I think it's pretty obvious that Volkanovski is the GOAT. Okay? He's coming off of 2 back-to-back knockouts. Got knocked out by Islam. Got knocked out by Tuporia. Then fights the young up-and-coming Diego Lopez and dominates him through the 5 rounds. Yes, he did have to use everything in his arsenal. He's kicking Diego in the balls, poking him in the eyes, and grabbing the fence. But the rules are there for you to break them. That's what I believe. The rules are there for you to break them. You're allowed to break the rules one time, and they'll warn you, and that's how it goes from there. But Volk dominated all 5 rounds. Okay, I changed my pick in the middle of the week from Volkanovski to Diego Lopez because I saw a video of Diego Lopez crying on Twitter, and I was like, you know what? Diego got the fire in him. Dream, believe, and make it happen is tattooed on his chest. He's gonna make this happen. If you tell me, E-Rock, you're going to go out and fight 2 dudes, and I mean, you're going to go out and fight 1 dude, not 2 dudes. You're going to go out and fight 1 dude, okay? But this dude is coming off of 2 back-to-back knockouts. I'm going to come off extremely aggressive. Lopez did not. He sat there and let Volk get comfortable. And that's what like stamped the loss right there. He sat there and let Volk get comfortable. Why would you do that? He's coming off of 2 back-to-back losses. He's scared to get in there. Look what happened to Tuporia. He was scared to throw hands. And he ended up getting slept. Lopez comes out and just finds the range, and Volk's just jabbing him all night. He's jabbing him. He's eating him up with the jab. Volk looked great. Lopez threw no elbows, no takedowns, no clinch work. None. It was like I was watching Sean Strickland in there, but they were banging it out. Listen, I'm not going to compare Diego Lopez to Sean Strickland because they were banging it out. They were banging it out. They were banging it out,
Counter left there.
They were going a little crazy. Volk got knocked down. But once I saw Volk get knocked down, I was like, ooh, but he did a little, it was near the end of the round. He did a little bit get saved by the bell. But, Lopez, you need to come out more aggressive. What's up with that? Are you for real? Why are you letting Volk get comfortable? That's what cemented the loss. And either way, you got completely outstruck. 165 to 71. He basically threw 100 more strikes than you did. Okay? He took you down. You didn't even shoot a takedown attempt. Come on. Now, you did bust my boy up. Volk was a little hurt, but he won. He won the fight. And that's kind of all that matters. He won the fight. But what is next for Volkanovski? Obviously, when you look at the rankings, you're going to sit here and say, well, obviously it's Mozavar. Obviously, Mozavar is next for Volkanovski. And after watching the UFC 314 press conference and seeing Yair and Diego Lopez argue, that's next. That's next. But do not forget about Arnold Allen. And just remember that these rankings are all over the place. They're all over the place because it says Ilya Topuria is champion. Okay, so Volk's number 1, so that's going to be moved up. But Max Holloway's ranked 2, and he's also ranked 4 in lightweight division. Why are you ranked 2 in featherweight and 4 in lightweight? Pick a division so we can get our standings right, and you can just pick a road. Like what the fuck? But so don't forget about Arnold Allen, boys. He's right there, and Brian Ortega is basically out of here. So don't just think Mozavar has the scene just clear open like that. Okay? You might have to be stuck and sit here and fight. UFC might sign somebody. You never know. Look what happened to Kaya Sakura. Kaya Sakura just jumped the line. He jumped the line. Even though, Pantoja's division is a little different. He did clear it out. But Volk has essentially cleared out this division. Yair's done. Max is done if he decides to stay here. Diego's done. Mozavar's left. Brian's done. So don't forget, we got Arnold Allen and Lerone Murphy. Aljo's here too. This division's just a little bit fucked. It's because they need to change the rankings. Please change the rankings. But anyways, after the fight, Volk had this to say. It was very, as a father, it was.
And I sort of said that at the start. It was funny. Before I went out, I was saying, like, I promised, I do my walk around the mat while I'm warming up. And I always say, there's no way that they're taking this away from my family. This is what I would say, like, when I had the belt. And I'm like, and I sort of said that at the start.
Damn, bro. Diego Lopez really fucked Volk up.
Today, like, while I was walking around, I was like, I promised my girls I'll bring the belt back. And then I'm like, it's not about bringing the belt back. Like, I even said it in there. I go, well, it's not about bringing the belt back. It's about overcoming this adversity, these two losses, the break I had. A lot of people are going to think I'm done. 36 years.
I was one of those people. I was definitely listen, I was a believer in the beginning of the week. I really was. I was. But after seeing the embedded and seeing Diego Lopez and seeing everything on Twitter, I got caught up. I got caught up in the headlights, and I was like, you know what, man? Volk is over 35. Volk is over 35. People over 35 in title fights are 0-17. Now they're 1-17. Now they're 1-17. Volk is definitely the greatest featherweight of all time. Jose Aldo needs to move aside. Even before this fight, Jose Aldo and Alexander Volkanovski, for me, were like this. Right next to each other. Right next to each other. But after this, seeing Volk coming off of 2 back-to-back knockout losses, whew, way up. Way up. Volk is up. Okay? Volk is up. Volk is the best featherweight of all time. This is going to be a hard task for somebody to sit here and take the GOAT status away from my boy. Ilya would have been the one to do it, but he left. He left. Now he's in lightweight. Ilya might be the best lightweight to do it. We'll see. We'll see. But we'll finish listening to what the GOAT has to say.
Years old. That is more important. Me, showing my kids, what you could be capable of when people are counting you out. And I said to you all week, everyone has every right to count me out. Coming off 2 losses, big break, 36 years old, young, hungry, dangerous guy. And I told you, like, hey, I'm the guy to, you can definitely think that. You have every right until I change your mind.
He changed my mind. He changed my mind. And then this is what he also had to say about Jose Aldo. But he wants to sit here and be humble. Volk, you don't need to be humble. You just came off of 2 back-to-back losses, 2 knockouts, and you just beat the number 1 contender. Mozavar is not the number 1 contender. Even though Diego did lose to Mozavar. There's an argument. There's an argument that Diego Lopez didn't even need to deserve to be in there because you lost to Mozavar. You just lost to Mozavar, and you beat somebody on short notice in Danny Gay, But and I dusted up Brian Ortega. But okay, we'll listen to what the king, the GOAT of the featherweight division has to say. All hail Volkanovski. All hail Volkanovski. For real.
I know it's been talked about many times over the years, like the featherweight GOAT discussion and where you fit in. I know you've kind of always deferred it to other people to talk about that, but with this win tonight, you now trailed Jose Aldo by just 1 title fight victory, and for so long that record felt unattainable, right? If you can have the 2nd title reign, get a defense, something he did not do you think that closes the discussion?
Again, that's not up to me. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
He beats Mozavar. Telling you guys right now, if the Volk who fought Diego Lopez shows up in the fight against Mozavar, Volkanovski beats the dog shit out of Mozavar. Mozavar's not going to stand and bang with him. Even if he does, it's over. Okay? Mozavar's going to try to take Volk to the ground. I don't know why I keep switching up their names. Mozavar's going to try to take Volkanovski to the ground. Volkanovski's going to keep Mozavar out of range. You can't choke the man. Where is his neck? Where does his neck and his collarbone start? Like, you know what I mean? Come on.
I got this new title reign, and yeah, put this way, I'll just make it hard for people to not choose me, I guess, you know what I mean? But, so I'll just, it's not me. I'm not going to call for anything. Aldo is an absolute legend. He's done great things. I know I've done great things. I've fought absolute legends. The resume I have is pretty impressive. Same as Aldo's. But I mean, he's obviously had so many defenses. I'd love to get that many. But yeah, having 3 wins over Max and all that is just bloody. That's what something that I'm like. Do I need so many defenses? I don't know, but I will get the defenses.
He's saying, do I need that many defenses? Listen, I beat Max Holloway 3 different times. I whooped Max Holloway's ass 3 times. We did a 3-peat on Max Holloway. Listen, can Volk get the John Jones privilege, and can we just move Jose Aldo up for a title shot? Can we skip Mozavar, who would be technically Tom Aspinall in this comparison to heavyweight? If we put Jose Aldo in the title shot, just so we can do goat for goat. We could do goat for goat. We could do the Stipe John Jones equal, which would be Jose Aldo to Alexander Volkanovski. You know, we're going to go Alex Volkanovski. But no, boys, it's going to be Mozavar next. And I really do think that Volk got this. I do think Volk got this. And in my eyes, Volk is over Jose Aldo any day of the week. Any day of the week. He really surprised me last night at UFC 314. I got super drunk out of my mind watching that just insane performance from bro. Salute, boys. I can talk about this all day. I'm in shock that Volkanovski did that for real. Have a good one, boys.